Hello lovely people and welcome back to this week's new video. This is a reading vlog challenge, but I just needed to do an intro and a little bit of a wrap up and outro, so here we are. If you're new here, hello, my name is Noah. I'm a bookish and lifestyle vlogger born and raised and still based in New York City. If that sounds like of any interest to you, I would absolutely love it if you would stick around and subscribe at the end if you so please. If you hear any noise, it's going to be the AC and probably the washing machine. I have been wanting to do this sort of challenge video, and then it just sort of happened that everyone started doing it as well, the 100 pages a day. But I thought 100 pages is something I aim for kind of regularly, so why not, I guess, one up everyone, but also take it a little bit further and challenge myself personally and aim for 250 pages a day for a week. It seemed perfect to do it at the beginning of the month because my bullet journal reading tracker goes up to 250 pages, and obviously I can go more. I write down how many pages I've read. It would look really nice, and so I wanted to challenge myself, and here's how it went. Today I've already read half of the pages that I needed to read, so 125-ish pages of my current read, which is The Poppy War. I started this Sunday before my little one-night trip with Coda, and obviously because I was with him, I didn't get a lot of reading done. Since I've already read half today because I had time during work, I feel pretty good. It's definitely going to be attainable today. This is a high fantasy book about Rin, who ends up acing the test, empire-wide test, to get into the military academy. Their country or territory, Nikara, is about to be occupied by their longtime enemy, the Federation of Mugen, and a third Poppy War is about to happen, and Rin has these powers to become a shaman possibly, and she's the only one who might be able to channel the gods to help them win this war. Actually getting into that plot took a really long time. It wasn't until like halfway of where I just got up to that we really were getting into it, but I didn't even care that it was taking a really long time because this world is so cool, and I'm really enjoying R.F. Kuang's writing and how she's introducing this world to the readers. It's definitely the best experience that I've had so far with the first book in a fantasy, because usually I give it like an average rating. Fantasy isn't typically something that I read, which I'm trying to change this year, and I'm really enjoying this so far. It's at 4 stars. Typically would be at a fantasy would be at 3, so I can't wait to finish reading it. I am gonna start making dinner right now. Well, not really preparing dinner since it's leftovers today. I do want to get a little bit before the hour that I read before bed because I'm not sure if I can read 125 pages. It all depends on the situation of how distracted I get, how tired I am, etc, etc, but first day is going pretty great so far. Yesterday went very successfully. I read 57 pages just because I like to finish off on a chapter if possible. But today has mostly been me listening to 17's music. I finished their album, so I'm listening to their singles and their EPs, and then working on my bullet journal and watching a show for a project I'm working on. I cannot get myself into the reading mood today, which sucks because I'm really enjoying The Poppy War. So I only have like 138 pages left of the book, which is obviously not going to be enough. I think I'm going to just read a graphic novel. This is the series that I have been reading, Why the Last Man by Brian K. Vaughan, just because I really want to read, and I know that I have to read 250 pages, but I just cannot get myself in the mood. I know that a graphic novel seems a little bit like cheating, but it'll help me get the page count while also like slowly getting me into the reading. It's almost 5 p.m. and I haven't done anything, so I'm just like, It's day 3, right? Because it's Thursday. I just feel like yesterday and today I've been in such a blah mood because I haven't been getting great sleep. I usually aim to sleep at like 11 p.m. but lately I haven't been able to sleep until about 1 a.m. At first, when it started happening, I thought it was because I was stressed out because of school and finals had been approaching, but now I'm on break, so I don't really understand why I would be stressed, because reading usually helps tire me out. I think tomorrow I'm gonna come come up with a different game plan and try to stay away from my screens like I did during school. No laptop Friday or no watch Friday. I have been consuming a lot of stuff for, like I said, the project and like catching up on some shows and YouTube, because every day there's definitely someone that I'm subscribed to that posts. Although they did announce, BTS, that they're releasing 2 different versions of Butter. I don't know if that's gonna have a music video as well, so that would be dependent on whether or not I'm gonna stay awake again. I actually have no idea what book to read for today. I do have to start a new one, which I should start soon because it's almost 9 p.m. and I need to do the whole entirety of 250 pages. If I feel like it, maybe I will continue with this series and just do a little bit of cheating again by reading a graphic novel. I did end up finishing The Poppy War. This was so great. I'm really relatively new to the fantasy genre. Typically for a series, for the first book I would give it a middle of the road rating, a 3-star, because I still don't quite feel acclimated to the world, and the second book I start to give it a higher rating. But this, from the start, I just really was so invested in the world. I'm giving this a 4-star and I can't wait to pick up the next one. And this book, I think I liked it the least out of the series. I've been giving them 3.5 stars, but this one I'm giving a 2-star. I didn't feel like anything that was happening was like really adding to the story. I'm kind of just waiting for them to get to their destination in California. Contenders that I have, I don't want to get to the new books that I got right away because I do have a lot of other books. A high contender is definitely this one, The Silent Patient, because I did end up choosing The Maidens by Alex Michaelides for my book of the month pick, and that's supposed to come like tomorrow. I might have read somewhere that someone said to read this first, and I have been wanting to read this. My sister read this for a book club, so she has some annotations in there. I might pick this up because I know it's a thriller. These usually, as my favorite genre, are very fast moving for me, and I get through them relatively quickly. I ended up reading this because The Silent Patient actually isn't very long and I wanted to finish it today with 250 pages exactly, but the book is really easy to read, so I read 150 pages of this. So in combination with this graphic novel, I ended up reading like 287 pages. After I finish The Silent Patient today, which I'm reading right now, I am going to have to pick out a new book. This is really fast-paced and it is great. I think what makes it more exciting and interesting to read is that storyline of the main character, I guess, Theo, the psychotherapist, is not sketchy, but there's something going on in his own personal life that would show that he doesn't have everything going on and that he has his own like weird motives for wanting to get Alicia to talk. This book is following a psychotherapist named Theo, and he wants to get Alicia Berenson, who murdered her husband 7 years ago, to talk again after murdering her husband. He just came home from work one day, she shot him in the face like 5 times and then never spoke again. And she's put into this mental institution where Theo is trying to get her to talk. I'm definitely well over halfway. I'm almost at page 200. This book is great. I will definitely finish it today. I had the plan of reading in the morning, or at least reading during lunch, so that I didn't have to do the entirety of 250 pages like I did last night. But my lunch was messy. I made a sandwich and the bread had just a lot of holes in it. I mixed barbecue sauce and mayonnaise, Japanese mayonnaise, together, and that was just kind of oozing out of the bread, so it was really messy. So I ended up discovering these twins on YouTube, Huang. They call their fan base cuties. They are adorable. They are Korean and I think for a time lived in LA or had done a lot of work there, so they do conduct their videos in English. They're identical. I've only watched like 2 videos of theirs and I don't yet know the difference between them, but I definitely subscribed and I look forward to watching more of their videos. So I'm just getting to my reading now and I'm really liking this book. I finished The Silent Patient a little bit ago. I think it was like 168 pages or 38 or something like that. I'm giving this 4 stars. The twist did really catch me, but I feel like there could have been more done to sort of get you to catch on to what was going on. That's why it's not like an absolute 5 stars, although I did have a really great time with it, and it was sort of perfect timing because my book of the month arrived today, which I said was The Maidens. I'm really eager to get to this one this month. month as well. Obviously, it's another thriller, and it's very a secret history vibes, which I did enjoy. I've been saying enjoy a lot now also. And I decided that this vlog is sort of just me tackling my physical TBR shelf up there, and so I'm gonna get to John Mars's What Lies Between Us, which is another thriller. Maggie and Nina live in the same house, except that I think one is a prisoner. That's really creepy. I heard that I should read this before reading his other book, The Minders, which I have out from the library because it was the book club pick for Book Troop, Gabby's book club, which I'm very behind on. As you can tell, I'm like 2 months behind, so I wanted to get to this before I get to the other book, so it seemed perfect. I only have to read like less than 100 pages because I read a good amount for The Silent Patient already. Still having trouble sleeping, but I'm drinking caffeine, it's fine. Yesterday rather, I read 258 pages because I read the last 168 pages of The Silent Patient, which I gave 4 stars. And then I read 90 pages of What Lies Between Us. I mean, just look at how great this looks. And then everything falls out of my bullet journal. I am just having an amazing time with this so far. It's very fast moving. Finishing this today will definitely get me over 250 pages for today because I have just not been dedicating enough time throughout the day. You know, I just do it at night, and that's why I had to rely on the graphic novels. This alternates perspectives between Nina and Maggie. Sometimes there are chapters that take place in the past to sort of explain the history between the two of them to lead up to the conflict of why exactly Maggie is being imprisoned by Nina. The chapters are very short, which is great for me because as someone who prefers to finish off at the end of a chapter each time I put it down for the day, I obviously want to remember exactly what happened and look forward to something. No one is perfect basically in this, and that's sort of what makes it that much greater. There was a twist in the very beginning that just makes you want to keep reading. You definitely don't expect such a twist in the beginning, so I'm expecting more to come along as I get through it. This is so good. I really like this so far. This book is a fucking roller coaster. I thought that I would read half in the morning, but I ended up just basically finishing the rest all in one sitting. So I basically already hit my page count for today, but I always read at night, so I'm gonna have to look for another book to pick up. This was so, like, what the fuck, mind-blowing. Nina is terrible. I mean, she is the one who has imprisoned Maggie, but like, she is absolutely psychotic, and she's like really the type of person that I hate. She takes zero responsibility for her actions and just constantly blames other people for her problems. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people do that, I myself included, but when I'm really upset and angry, I'll take the time to journal, to vent and get all of my feelings out, and then when I'm like removed and I can come back to that entry, I can see the other point of view sometimes and see where I did, like, what I did was wrong. Like, I'm not saying you need to notice right away, but like, geez, like, she's being imprisoned for 2 years at this point, and it's like, if you can't even see it then like, you are really not helping anybody, and you're sort of just feeding into your own delusions. But oh my god, I really actually had a fun time. I basically read this in one sitting, and it's just incredible. So I can't wait to get to The Minders and see in what way this was spoiled. Holy crap. But I think I'm giving it 4.5 stars just because I feel like Maggie, there were a lot of things that she could have said to Nina that I would have wanted to see how that went down, because although none of them were in the right, Maggie is the one that's imprisoned, but she also did some fucked up things that like made Nina reach her breaking point into imprisoning her. I would have liked to see like what would have happened if she like told Nina everything. If you read it, you'll get my drift. Oh my gosh, amazing. I was out all day, not really, but I hadn't read until recently. Look, I did it. Okay, there, I did it. Okay, proof. I'll update tomorrow. I'm so tired. I feel like my eyebrows are really dark today, and my period's coming soon. I forgot about that. Anyway, yesterday I read like the majority of Life's Too Short, which is the third book in the Friend Zone series. The second book was the Happy Ever After playlist, and I really liked the first two books, the second book more actually. I read 287 pages yesterday, so that's fantastic because we my cousin's had a baby, or his wife did. So we went to the Japanese bookstore, to Kinokuniya, to look for some books, and obviously I get my last reading done on the train. It's like the only thing the MTA is good for. And I finished the last 60-ish pages this morning, so I have that down for today, so just about 200 pages more. I'm giving this book 3 stars because I always saw the negative reviews for this series that the author sort of takes extremely serious situations and kind of treads lightly around them and gives it too much of a happy ending, and that was the problem. It didn't really affect me until this book because I saw only negative reviews for this for people that I follow, that I'm friends with, and that was just stuck in my head, which sucks because I liked the first 2 books a lot. I understood what the author, it feels like she's doing. It's such a cruel joke to sort of take these extremely tough situations and give it a happy ending, a stamp at the end to say it's all gonna be okay, when in reality it's not. And there are stories where you can give it a realistic ending, it can still be really well done. Like, I don't think romances all need to be really fluffy, like A Walk to Remember. We all love that movie, that story, that book. And so that was my issue with it, that it's sort of just that whole time. Also, Vanessa was compared to Jennifer Lawrence, and I don't really like her, so that kind of turned me off against her. The ending, meh, you know, which really sucks because I like this author. I also felt that it was sort of a stretch to keep this in the series because I don't even remember Adrian in the second book. He's apparently Josh's cousin. She does have another book coming out next year, but I don't know if that's going to be a standalone. And then I decided to start a new book, obviously. I decided to start The Maidens because I forgot that this was actually an early release with Book of the Month. So this book is coming out on the 15th, and I wanted to read it before it did and review it and recommend it. There's been a lot going on here, so I only read 30 pages, but I didn't even see what the other one's about. Oh my god. This is following Vanessa. She quit her job to become basically a travel vlogger on YouTube with millions of subscribers, but then she is left to take care of her sister's daughter, her newborn baby Grace, and then Adrian, the love interest, is her next door neighbor who ends up being like the baby whisperer and helps her out every so often, and that's the love story. I basically read about a book a day because although I didn't read the entirety of the Poppy War in this vlog and finish The Maidens for this vlog, which my wrap up I will say later, I guess I'm counting that 2 amount that I didn't read for this vlog together and counting it as 1 book. So that would be like 6 books, which is pretty great because I don't typically read that much in a week. If I do at most in my vlogs, it was usually like 3 to 4 books. So I'm really happy. Let's go over everything that I read. Am I gonna have a star rating? I hope so, because that's in a different part of my bullet journal. Number 1 book that I finished first, smells great, is The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang, and I gave this 4 stars. This was an amazing fantasy. The highest I've given like a fantasy that I've read recently, for the first book at least, they're usually 3 stars, so I can't wait to continue this series. Holy crap. I read the graphic novel continuing what I have been since the end of May, and this is Why the Last Man, the series. This is volume 4 by Brian K. Vaughan. I gave this 2 stars. I enjoyed this the least out of the whole series so far. Next up, I read The Silent Patient by Michaelides, and I gave this book 4 stars. It was great. The hype didn't really ruin it for me. It was very fast paced if you're into that. Next up was also Why the Last Man, volume 5 by Brian K. Vaughan, and this was 3 stars. Ooh. What Lies Between Us came next by John Mars, and I give this one 4.5 stars. This also was very fast-paced, dual perspective with very short chapters, which just helped me to just read more and more. Couldn't get enough of this one. Second to last was Life's Too Short by Abby Jimenez, which is book 3 in her Friend Zone series, and this one was disappointing, and I gave this one 3 stars. It wasn't the worst, but I hope that maybe for her next book, it's coming out in spring of 2022, Part of Your World does a little better maybe, because I always see the same sort of review that she is just stamping everything with the happy ever after stamp, and people are disappointed by that. The last book that I read, I didn't finish it as part of this challenge, but was The Maidens by Michaelides. This book comes out on the 15th, I believe, so make sure to go check it out if you were interested. I personally was quite disappointed and liked The Silent Patient a lot more, and I'm giving this book 2 stars. It was very, very slow paced in the beginning. There wasn't a lot of interesting mystery, and the reveal at the end was just so absolutely boring. I feel like The Silent Patient gave a lot of twists and excitement, and this just had none of that, and sadly wasn't for me. This is the stack of books that I read for the month, for this week, for this challenge, and I'm very, very happy. I would have liked to read 250 pages for the whole month, but I know that's unrealistic because I have like vacation plans. I won't be home all the time. So as you can see, I've already fell short, but just look how great that looks, that it's all there connected. Just, I love how that looks. I do plan on still aiming for 250 for some days, like today for example, but it looks really good. How satisfying. And yes, my theme is BTS, so I do have like funny little stickers of them here. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy with this challenge. I'm really happy that I did it. I'm 100% sure actually the results would have been very, very different had I been at school as well, because I didn't really have time to focus on reading like this. If I was aiming for 100 pages, sure, maybe, but 250 pages, I could do that within no school, with an easy lighter workload now that it's summer. So I'm happy that I did this, but I definitely was smart about the timing. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Let me know if you're going to try this challenge as well, regardless of whether or not it's going to be 100 pages or even just 250 pages like I did, and I will see you all next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.